We have x plus 7y equals z plus 13. X equals 5 plus y minus z, and x plus y plus 4z equals 21. Victoria, just make sure. Is this the only one? Okay, just make sure I copy it correctly, please.
21.
Yes, 21. Yes. Okay, so first of all, this system is not presented correctly for what I am trying to do. So I have to rearrange the whole thing as x plus 7y minus z equals 13, and then x minus y plus z equals 5, and x plus y plus 4z equals 21. So if the system is messed up, not in the correct order, I have to rearrange it. So now it's arranged correctly. I can start the algorithm by presenting the augmented matrix. So I have 1, 7, negative 1, 13, 1, negative 1, 1, 5, 1, 1, 4, 21. And now I can start the algorithm. I see that the first row, first column has already what I need to have, which is 1. In this first step, if you remember, we have to use row 1. So we use row 1 to eliminate this. So this is what we want. These two have to go away. That's the sequence of steps. So after we get this, the one in the upper left, we want to use that to eliminate the ones in the second row, third, and third row. What do we multiply by? Right, in both cases, we agree? Okay, so which row do I copy? Because right now, at this stage, will not change. Right, because it's the one that I'm using. 1, 7, negative 1, 13. So let's do this together. 1 times negative 1 plus 1. 7 times negative 1 minus 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 plus 1. Excellent. 13 times negative 1 plus 5. Correct? That's okay. So negative 13 plus 5 is negative 8, sorry. Negative 13 plus 5, negative 8. Good. So 1 times negative 1 plus 1. 7 times negative 1 is negative 7 plus 1 is negative 6. Positive 1 plus 4 is 5. And negative 13 plus 21 is 8. Okay, so this is done. Bless you. So although it's a little bit inconvenient, it's okay. I will divide second row by negative 8. Yeah, I will have a fraction here, but it's not such a big deal. Just 1. So we'll multiply everything by negative 1 over 8, or we divide everything in row 2 by negative 8. Any questions so far? Okay. So 0, negative 1, 2 over negative 8 is negative 1/4, and 1. 0, negative, I'm sorry, it's positive here. Negative 6, 5, and 8, 1, 7, negative 1, and 13. So this time divided by negative 8, this divided by negative 8, 2 over negative 8 is negative 1/4, and this divided by negative 8, and we get 1. So now I will use the 1 to eliminate these two. So which row do I multiply next? Yes, it must be the second now. It's the second step. And we add to row 1 and to row 3. So in order to eliminate the 7, what do I need to multiply by? Yes. In order to eliminate the negative 6, what do I multiply by? 6. Which row do I copy? Because I know it will not change. Of course, the column that I already built cannot ever change again. Because if it does, I'm going backwards and I'm not going to be able to solve. Yes, indeed. 1, negative 1/4, and 1. So let's do this together. 1 times negative 7 plus 7. Careful now. Positive 7/4 minus 1. 7/4 minus 1 is 3/4. 1 times negative 7 plus 13.
No, 6.
1 times 6 minus 6. Negative 1/4 times 6 is negative 3/2, and now plus 5 is 7/2. 1 times 6 is 6 plus 8, 14. So this is done. Carved in stone. If you go, if you change anything in those two columns, something is terribly wrong. We're not going to solve. Okay, final step. I shouldn't say final. There's this step and one more. What? Yes, divide row 3 or multiply row 3 by 2 over 7. So 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, negative 1/4, 1, 3/4, 6. Okay, so 7 over 2 times 2 over 7 is 1. What about 14? 14 over 1 times 2 over 7 is 4. So now this is the final step in which we multiply row 3 by something and add it to row 1, and row 3 by something and add it to row 2. Okay, so I need to eliminate 3/4. What do I multiply 1 by to eliminate the 3/4? Negative 3/4. And here for negative 1/4, I multiply by 1/4 indeed. And this is indeed final. Okay. 1 times negative 3/4 plus 3/4. 4 times negative 3 over 4. 4 over 1 times negative 3 over 4 is negative 3 plus 6. 1 times 1/4 minus 1/4. 4 times 1/4. 1 plus 1, 2. It appears that the solution is 324. Do I know that for sure? No, I really don't. So easy to make an error. So easy. So I go back to the original problem, 324. 324. 324. 324. Ready? 3 plus 14. 17. 4 plus 13. 17. Yes. 3 on this side. Here, 5 plus 2, which is 7. 7 minus 4, it is 3. On this side, 3 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 3 plus 2 is 5. Thank you. I would have gone back anyway. Yes. Don't trust me tonight. So 4 times 4 is 16 plus 5 is 21. I'll say yes. So only now I'll say yeah.
You got an extra one.
Say it again.
You got an extra one. Vanilla. Keep me awake.
I have a question.
Yes.
On my MATLAB, it asks us to do this
Gaussian elimination.
Gaussian elimination
With
with the
back substitution, use whatever method you like.
Okay.
It's half of this method. I showed the full method. The Gaussian elimination, nobody is going to know if you, on scratch paper, before you punch in the solution, you can do substitution if you want. Elimination, who knows?
Well, it doesn't make me put in the solution, it just
It
has
takes you
to-
step by step through it, probably.
Yeah, it's a bunch of different matrices
Yeah.
and it's
You can skip that, I'm fine. Now, but if you understand that method better than this one, and you want to use it, I'm fine. It's the same. It's the same. It just takes you, changes only these into zeros and says, this is this, then go back and plug it in, and then you determine that. So, you understand what I'm saying? Same thing.
I spent 3 hours on that trying to figure out why it wouldn't change it to zeros, and I was
Yeah,
so
don't worry
confused.
about it. So if you prefer that, and on the test or the final where it says Gaussian elimination, cross it out and say I'm using Gauss-Jordan, cross out and say I'm using Gaussian elimination. It doesn't matter to me which one you know. If you prefer the other one, I'm fine. If you think that one is easier, use it. But since you're doing this anyway, why would you stop in the middle and go back with a lot of work with back substitution? But if it's better for you, I'm fine. You choose. I only have to present one or the other. I think that this one is easier. Once we understand it, we can go ahead till the end with it. But if you say, nope, I prefer the other one, it's fine too. Good. Next question. Anything else we want to look at, or we go back to this?
Is the test on the 25th?
So I was thinking, let's on Monday we'll continue. Yeah. So and also Wednesday we'll continue reviewing. So we'll make a decision. I think a week from Monday should be fine. So we have time after that. At least there are 3 more weeks left. Yes.
I missed something big. I really apologize because I thought we had off. I mean, it's like, oh, holiday. Like, oh, hell yeah. You can sleep in. But yeah,
That's okay.
Turns out it was anything big. I
We missed you. Yes, we missed you. We didn't.
Very
We
quiet.
didn't. Yeah, we didn't get coffee to stay awake. You didn't. Yeah, we didn't have anyone to
I'm
suggest.
going to the gym. That's why I'm drinking coffee. I didn't feel like you saw me having a layer of pills over here before I go to work.
Okay, so let's
So
go back
that
to
drink coffee.
because if it's if we listen to him, we're not gonna finish.
No.
I'm kidding. Okay, so let's go back. I had that right here. Okay, ready? So we did this some time ago, right? It's done. So let's continue going backwards. You choose. We have to do all of them anyway. We have to work on all of those anyway, so it's up to you. What do we continue with? Okay, so we want to continue with the inequality, with a system of inequalities.
Yeah.
Yes.
On Monday, did you record this and put it on
No,
the
on-
review of it?
No, on Monday only did this,
Okay.
the last page.
Oh, okay, I got it.
I can
The
give it to
new
you.
stuff. No, I wanna watch it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, I don't think I
I don't-
posted this piece, so that's why.
Okay, alright. Alright, I'm a little distracted, yeah.
You
Okay.
didn't put that in the recording?
It is in the recording, but I don't have it in the paper. That's all I'm saying, yeah. Since she wasn't here. Okay, so we continue with the system of inequalities. Okay, I would like us to review the whole thing at least twice. So we have today, we have Monday, we have Wednesday. I mean, you should get your PhD in this now. Okay, so we have y greater than or equal to x squared minus 49 and x minus y greater than or equal to negative 7. So this is a system of nonlinear inequalities. One of them is linear, but the other one is not. And we cannot present the solution unless we graph it. So we start by creating the equations, step by step, not both at once. Then we ask ourselves, how do we graph this? and we graphed it so many times using transformations. Please tell me, how does this look? Yes, and down 49. So it must cross where? A -7, and that's it. Right?
Yeah.
So you set this equal to 0, you get positive and -7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And 49 is it's here. And it looks like this. Solid or not?
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely solid. So this is just the curve or the function. Y equals x squared minus 49. Now we pick a point. We'll pick a point inside because it's the origin. It's easiest. So 0 greater than or equal to -49. If you say that this is true, then I will shade in the inside. If you say nope, it's false, then I will shade in the outside. Is it true? Yes, it is. So if it's true with the point that I picked, the whole thing is true. So then this is y greater than or equal to x squared minus 49. Everything. All those points, all those ordered pairs, including points on the curve. Okay. Now I continue with the equation x minus y equals -7. And this is a line, not a quadratic function. So then when x is 0, I cover it. I get y equals. Good. So then 0, 7. When y is 0, I cover it. And I get x equals. Of course. You didn't know how easy this was till I put my finger on those. Now you do. Kidding. Okay, so -7, 0 is this point. And 7, 0 is this, 0, 7 is this point. Because I have a unit of 10. Solid or not? Good. And this is the graph only of x minus y equals -7, not the inequality. So then now what do? I see that it does not pass through the origin. I will choose the origin again. So then I have 0, 0 greater than or equal to -7. Is 0 greater than or equal to -7? If you say yes, I will shade in the below because I checked with this. If you say it doesn't work for this, it will not work for any, so I have to shade in the above. It's a yes. Good. So then all this is x minus y greater than or equal to -7. So now I have to intersect the brown, is this brown? Yes, brown with red. If there is no overlap between of these two, then there is no solution. There is. So all points on the line, yes. All points on the curve, yes. And everything else in between. And this is both. So the solutions of the system are presented in that region, and there is no other way. To present the solution but by graphing.
And if it was not equal to, it would just take the dash.
Yes, yes. Meaning the points on those, on the curve, or on the function, or on the line, or both, are not part of the solution. So we show it when it's solid, and the points are part of the solution. When it's not solid, the points are not part of the solution. That's why we have to differentiate between one and the other. Okay? So this was the inequality. Let's look at the next one. Find the length of the width of a rectangle whose perimeter, 34 feet, and area, 60. So we're talking about a rectangle. I will denote the length by x and the width by y. Doesn't matter how you denote them though. It's up to you.
Can we do 2x plus 2y is equal to 34?
Yes. Yes. So I will write 2x plus 2y equals 34. And yes, eventually I will write x plus y equals 17. I agree. But I also need another equation, right?
Yes.
X times y equals?
60.
Yes. X times y equals 60. So I recommend you do whatever you want, of course, but I recommend substituting. So solving the first equation for one or the other, it doesn't matter. So let's say x equals negative y plus 17 and replace it in here. So y times negative y plus 17 equals 60. So negative y squared plus 17y minus 60 equals 0. Or y squared minus 17y plus 60 equals 0. So I hope that we can factor this quickly. If we can't, it's okay. We can always use a quadratic formula.
15 and 2.
15 and 2, I agree. You mean 12 and 5? Yes, so y minus 5 and y minus 12 equals 0. So then y equals 5 and y equals 12. So then we can determine the corresponding x. So we go back to this. We make y equals 5. 17 minus 5 is 12. What am I doing?
That should be
Y.
12. Yeah.
What did I do?
17 should
17
be
should
12.
be top.
There you go. Y equals.
Sorry about that. So then when we plug in 12, we get 5. Thank you. So basically two options, 12 comma 5 and 5 comma 12, which is basically the same. Questions, please. Okay, moving on. Questions on this? Okay, let's move on. So we have a system now, another system. X plus y equals negative 11. And then x minus 3 everything squared plus y plus 6 squared equals 34. Again, we have no choice with here to pick. Oops, sorry. So variables are not the same, so we cannot eliminate. So we have to use substitution again. So then x equals negative y minus 11, for example. And replace x in the second equation by negative y minus 14, everything squared, plus y plus 6, everything squared, equals 34.
Minus 11.
Yes. Yeah. So minus 11 minus 3 is negative 14. That's okay. I just did it in one step. Because we have a minus 3 here. That's okay. Okay. So it was negative 11 minus 3 equals. Always point out if you see something because I may literally not see it. It's very possible. I hope it's not very frequent, but it's very possible. So now I have to square, and I hope you're using the special product, not FOIL, but that's okay if you're foiling. I can't do anything about it. So the first term squared plus 2 times the first times the second plus the second term squared plus the first term times 2 times the first times the second plus 36 minus 34 equals 0. So I see 2y squared. I see a positive 40y. And I'm not sure about the numbers. If you want to give them to me, it's 14 squared plus 2. Yes, 198. You know enough about me to answer the following question. What do you think I'm going to do next? Immediately. By?
2.
Of course. Get rid of it. You cannot divide by x or y, but you can always divide and simplify by a number, right? Not 0, of course. Y squared plus 20y plus 99, I think. Check my numbers tonight. So I don't care for this. I will use the quadratic formula. So negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So let's see what we get.
Oh, God, you need it. It comes out even. 11 times 2, right?
It's 11 and 9.
I mean, 11 9. Thank you.
Okay. So it's 4. So the square root of 4 is 2. So the solutions are negative 20 plus or minus 2 over 2. So I got x equals negative 22 over 2 indeed. And the other x is negative 18 divided by 2, which is negative 9. This is good, but it's not good enough. I have to go back to my substitution here. So with negative 11, I get 0. And with negative 9, I get negative 2. So please, unless you run out of time on a test, which I don't think it's going to happen, but just in case, please always go back and check. So negative 11, 0, comma, negative 9, negative 2.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you plug in x, the negative y minus 11, what number? Can you spell it out?
Yes.
Sorry.
When
Instead of it being negative 5 instead of 6 for y plus 6 squared when you plug in the negative y minus 11.
I only plug it in x, not in y.
Oh, that would be.
It's only x. I can't change y. It's y is y. I don't have y. So I'm only replacing x by negative y minus 11. I cannot do anything here. Better?
Yeah.
Yes, Becca?
I think you did what I did. You put x equals when we were solving for y.
Ah,
So they're opposite.
yeah, because I wanted to be in solidarity with you. Sorry about that. That's what I said. Don't trust me tonight.
Just test.
No, I wasn't testing anybody. I wasn't paying attention. I wrote x because I normally write x for a quadratic formula, but it has no meaning because I'm solving for y. Thank you so much. My mistake. So, of course, 0 comma negative 11 and negative 2 comma negative 9, of course.
White out.
Say it again.
Run out of white out.
Um,
I'm mad at you Christmases, so. Oh, you got it.
Add to the list.
I just got a new one. As I said, I can live without it.
That's good.
Some people can live without coffee. I can live without white out.
Oh, if that happens, I'm gonna be a sad guy. So bored. So bored.
It's so good to send from here because I have the vent over my head. Sometimes I don't hear what he says, and I think it's better that I don't.
Only one dot you don't want.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So my apologies. I was solving for y, and I wrote x, of course. Any questions? Okay, moving on. Okay, so I would like us to maybe start from the top this time. Okay, so let's read the first one. You all have this handout, right? Okay, just making sure. I should have asked by now. Okay, so here we have a function f of t, which is 110,000 divided by 1 plus 5,400 e to negative t. When we read a word problem, please make sure that you take notes, you write what they mean, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So it says T is in weeks. So obviously it's time. Then it says this is number of people. So the logistic growth function at right, the one we have, describes the number of people, f of t, who have become ill with the flu t weeks after its initial outbreak in a particular community. How many people became ill with the flu when the epidemic began?
If I guess the right amount of people, can we get extra credit? I'm gonna give a rough estimate.
Go ahead.
20.
So f of 0, 110,000. Who gave him the answer?
We already had it.
We did this one?
We did.
Is that why I haven't done one?
Okay.
I didn't think I was.
Okay, good. So let's move on.
Oh, you did. You're not gonna give it. Oh.
No.
I'm trying you guys. You know, one of these days she's gonna give it. I'm gonna finally.
Okay, if we did it, why do you torture me then?
No, I wasn't trying to torture you. I'm trying to get extra credit. That's I'm trying to
Okay,
make
so
sure
let's
this
take a look at f of x then. 12.57 over 1 plus 4.11 e to negative 0.026x. According to this model, okay, so we have the world population. So this is population in billions. Okay, and x is the number of years since 1982. So what does 1982 represent?
The beginning.
0.
0. Very good. So always take notes on scratch paper or on the paper, anywhere. Just take notes so you know what, or circle. If you have the problem in front of you, just circle all that so you know. Okay, so then we're asked, according to this model, when will the world population be 8 billion? We are already 7 billion and growing. So the question is, if in case the model still holds, I don't know. Assuming it does, when will the population be 9 billion? So what am I trying to do and how? So which one is? Yes, great job. So 8 billion, 12.57, and this is in billion. That's why we don't put the zeros. It's just 8. 1 plus 4.11 e to negative 0.026x. Okay, so then I need to solve this equation for, what am I solving it for?
X.
Of course. So zoom out. I know what you see in the denominator is full of noise, right? It's noise in there. But if you zoom out, you will say, oh, I know. What type of equation is this? A proportion. So if you don't look at the denominator, that is kind of scary. If you don't look at it, you will say it's a proportion, right? Okay, so let's cross multiply. Do not multiply, just write 8 times 1 plus 4.11 e to negative 0.026x equals 12.57 times 1. So now let's look at this equation and talk about it for a minute. What am I solving again for?
X.
So then I have to peel like I'm peeling a onion, right? So I have to take this away, then I want to take this away, then I want to take this away, and I want to get to this. But now in order of operations, I cannot just erase those. I have to do it step by step. So how do I get rid of 8? Right. That's exactly it. You could say I want to distribute. You can. It's fine if you distribute as well. So 1 plus 4.11 e to negative 0.026x equals 12.57 divided by 8. Do not calculate anything till the very last step. Now I want to get rid of, good. How do I get rid of 1? Of course, of course. You may not realize, but you learned tremendously in this class. Not due to me. I do not take any credit. Due to your effort. Now I want to peel off what? How do I do that? Yes, because it all depends on what the operation is. If it's multiplication, I have to divide. If it's addition between this and this, then I have to subtract, but it's multiplication, so I have to divide. Do not calculate anything. I know this is noise. I know this is annoying. Don't even look at it. It's just a number. How do I solve this now? Yes. Thank you. I apply natural log to both sides. Now you have to be very careful, however, with the right-hand side and how we put it in, please. So please watch 1 second. So I put this in front. There was no 6-2, right? It was just 6. I just made up stuff. Okay. Equals natural log. See, the fraction line is where the equal symbol is in the same, it's lined up with the equal symbol. Natural log in front, 4.11, and the numerator is 12.57 over 8 minus 1. So now the final step, I divide both sides by this number. So now I have the equal symbol and the fraction line also lined up, and I divide by 0.026, and all this is in the top. Be very careful because these are very important steps. 12.57 over 8 minus 1. Now, this is a mess. But we still don't want to calculate step by step. We don't. Okay, so here's what we need to remember. Parentheses around the denominator, parentheses inside the log, and parentheses in the numerator. If we don't put parentheses around 4.11, it's okay. So this needs parentheses. This quantity needs parentheses. You don't really need parentheses here because it's only one quantity, but definitely you need parentheses here. If you omit any of these, you may not get the correct answer. Ready? That's why I said step by step, make sure that you understand where the fraction line is. Now the fraction line is here because I have to have this in the numerator and this in the denominator. So let's do this. Okay, so at the top we have natural log. It already pops up with parentheses. So that's the first one. Parenthesis again for the numerator of the fraction, which is 12.57 divided by 8. And then it's okay, minus 1. Close the parenthesis. Divide by 4.11. And now close the parenthesis inside the log. And then you divide by, in parentheses again, negative 0.026, close the parenthesis and press enter. So it appears that since 1982, it appears that roughly 76 years have to pass, assuming that the model still holds, for the population to be what?
8 billion.
8 billion. So X is approximately 76 years. Did we all get this? Yes? Perfect. Okay, X approximately 76 years from 1982. What does that mean? 2058. In the year 2058, it appears that, assuming the model still holds, we don't know. We don't know. That's 38 years roughly from now, so we don't know. But assuming it is true, that's where the population is predicted to be, based on this model, to become 8 billion. Okay, moving on. Say it again. You need help?
I got a different answer. Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is 8x minus 4y equals 24.
I get this one.
And 4x plus 7y equals negative 6. We did it? Unbelievable. Fine. Okay, what about the radios?
We did not do that.
Okay, so here we are given the revenue, which is 47 times x, and we are given the cost, which is 5,500 plus 27x. So we are asked to find the break-even point, and the break-even point is always determined when the revenue equals the cost. Yes?
So is this a system or is this a ratio? So like
It's a system. It's a system because there are two lines and they intersect.
Oh, so we are-
So we want to determine the point of intersection, which is the break-even when the revenue equals the cost. So that's all we need to do. Revenue equals cost. This is the y value and this is the y value. They are the same. So 47x must equal 5,500 plus 27x, which is 20x equals 5,500, and x equals 275, is it? Radius. So if somebody manufactures a product, you will tell that person, listen, if you want to break even, manufacture 275 of your units or whatever product you manufacture. Make sure you sell it, because if you put it on the shelf, it's not going to bring you anything. And hopefully you will start manufacturing way more so you can produce profit. But the minimum to cover your costs, you have to produce 275, because otherwise you're going to have to bring money from home to keep the business running. That's the break-even point. So the break-even point is a point in which x is 275, and this is the revenue of 275, or the cost of 275. It doesn't matter because they are the same. So how much is it? So 275 multiplied by 47. I got 12925. So that's the break-even point. Any questions on the break-even point? Okay, moving on. Any questions? Okay, let's move on to number 11. And we have 9 raised to x plus 6 equals 81 raised to x minus 8. Normally I would say prime numbers only, but in this case, 9 and 81 are okay. X plus 6, 9 squared, everything to x minus 8. So I changed 81 into 9 squared. So 9 raised to x plus 6 equals 9 raised to 2x minus 16. Is this okay?
Yes.
So then two numbers are equal and they have the same base. What has to happen then?
The values have to be
The exponents have to be the same. Right.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I got it.
So the powers have to be the same, which means x plus 6 must equal to x minus 16, which means,
x equals 1, 2. Oh, that's how we meant.
so yes, x plus 6 equals 2x minus 16. So how much is x?
1, 2.
Very good. Indeed. Great job. For this, you get extra credit.
Oh, that, this bonus points. Okay.
Now, here's an equation that it's exponential, but we cannot change both sides with the same base. So e to 11x minus 5 minus 3 equals 28498. Say it again.
We do the natural one thing.
Yes, but it's not ready yet. It's not cleaned up.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Let me explain why. Because log of a difference does not exist, meaning we cannot simplify it. We only have three properties of the log. Log applied to a product, to a ratio, or to a power, not to a difference. So if you make the mistake to apply log as is, you're not going to be able to continue. Right? Because log of this cannot be simplified. But if you start by adding 3 to both sides, then you're doing the right thing. So then e to 11x minus 5 equals, what is this? 501? Thank you. Good. Now I can apply natural log. And then I get 11x minus 5 equals natural log 28,501. I add 5 and divide by 11. Yes, if you want to check, you will have to approximate this. So we have to put in the calculator and then plug it in and see that we get the same thing. Would you like to do that or not? Yes? Okay, so let's approximate. Careful how you plug it in. And we had 5. So 5. Careful, parentheses. 5 plus natural log, parentheses are on the top, right? So don't forget that. 28501. Close the parenthesis and then close the parenthesis for the top. And then divide by 11. And we get 1.387 approximately. So x 1.387. Now I want to check my answer. And here's how I check my answer. I check the answer in e to blah, 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 minus 3 minus this. Because I want just one line in the calculator. Ready? Do not delete what you have. So I have e. And in parentheses for the power, 11 times the previous answer minus 5, close the parenthesis for the power, come down from there, negative 3 minus 28498. When I hit enter, if the answer is correct, that 1.387, if this is correct, what should I get?
0.
Excellent. If I don't get 0, the previous answer, this is the tolerance of the calculator. This is the error of the calculator. What does it mean? It means 0.000000008 zeros and 1. Which means
No.
0.
Wait. I'm confused. So there's a lot of zeros?
Yes.
Mine doesn't
10 to negative 8. 8 zeros. Yes, the calculator cannot say 0. It's not good enough. But this answer is 0.123456781.
Oh, so that means what we did.
A total of 8. Hold on. 2, 4, 6, 1.
So we didn't get it right.
Yeah, we did.
Wait, what?
How big is this for you? Is this what you want to have in the bank account?
I thought it was supposed wait. I thought we were supposed to have 0.
But this is 0.
That's it.
That is 0, but that there's a 1 right there. Like that's why I'm like, okay, so
Moving on. Okay, number 13. Log base 2 of x plus 6 plus log base 2 of x plus 5 equals 1. So this is the calculator telling us 0. What did you get with your calculators? Was it 0 or something weird like this? It was 0? Something weird? Yeah, because it was log, I guess.
so it's not 0.
It is 0.
Okay. Right. I'll give it.
Okay, so what do we do with this? Please state domain first. Thank you. Thank you. So x plus 6 positive,
Oh, yeah.
x plus 5 positive. So that means x greater than negative 6, and this one means greater than negative 5. So the solution must be between, yes, negative 5 to infinity. So let's do this again. From negative 6 to infinity and from negative 5 to infinity. Is that better?
Yeah.
Perfect. So if it's not a number greater than negative 5, it will not be accepted. Ready? So what do we do next?
Yeah, some with that one. Product
Yes,
log.
indeed. Not product of the log, but product of the quantities that we apply log to.
That's what I meant.
I know you did. Indeed. So log of a product, log base 2 of x plus 6 times x plus 5 means log base 2 of x plus 6 plus log base 2 of x plus 5. Only now we're ready to change it into an exponential equation. So let's do that. Always start with the base and go counterclockwise. Raise to the good equals all this. I'm going to multiply it. X squared plus 11x plus 30. You don't have to multiply it in one step, but I just wanted to save some time. And of course, it's what type of equation? Indeed, very good. So this is x squared plus 11x plus 28 equals 0. I'm hoping that this can be easily factored so I don't have to use the quadratic formula. But if I have to use the quadratic formula, I always use the quadratic formula. Not a big deal.
7 and 4.
So we have x plus 7 and x plus 4. Very good. So there are two options. And the options are right. Look at this. If the number is not greater than negative 5, we'll have to say it goodbye. Negative 7 is not a number greater than negative 5.